Thank you very much, and I turn it back over to Chair Farias.
Thank you so much, Speaker. And we'll just get right into it. When the administration's industrial working group was announced last year, the press release clearly stated the importance of the industrial sector to the city's wider economy and value of a multi-agency collaborative approach to planning for the sector. Yet, the working group has not released a report or set of recommendations. And beyond the short-term convening of this working group, there is not a clear process for DCP, EDC, and SPS to plan and coordinate land use, economic and workforce development, and capital budget tools to support the industrial sector and its essential role to the city's day-to-day operations and future sustainable development. How do agencies like DCP, EDC, and SPS currently work together to plan for the industrial sector and related citywide policy goals like reducing truck traffic and transitioning to green energy?
Sure. Thank you, Councilmember, and thank you, Madam Speaker. First, I just want to start and say the agencies represented here work together all the time, every day on these issues and on all economic development issues. We are routinely in communication and working on project bases in individual neighborhood areas and across larger policy areas like our industrial portfolio. We routinely share data, and in fact, the data that you have in front of you is a product of that shared data and research platform between City Planning and the Economic Development Corporation, and we form new projects together. And I'll mention one, for instance, the work that EDC is doing on the green economy and work that EDC, DOT, and City Planning all do together on planning for sustainable freight development is already informing DCP's zoning for carbon neutrality, which is removing impediments to electrical vehicle charging and introducing micro distribution potential and allowing for solar and new kinds of energy storage and construction on different sites. I'm going to turn to Jen Sun at EDC to see if she'd like to add some things on EDC's work.
Thanks, Carolyn. As Carolyn mentioned, with the example of sustainable freight, EDC is in a constant engagement with the private industry about what conditions are necessary in order for them to move freight more by water rather than by truck. And through those industry engagements, we've learned that there is an interest from large package delivery companies like Amazon, UPS, and FedEx in actually using zero-emission vehicles like electric cargo bikes, electric trucks, and vans for last-mile distribution. That information has been shared with City Planning in a way to support the collaboration and design of micro distribution hubs to be located in commercial districts to encourage more sort of sustainable last mile delivery to happen in commercial areas. And then in the industrial areas, our focus has been working with DOT, looking at the waterfront assets that are managed by EDC, of using existing waterfront landings to activate them for a marine highway system. So EDC received an over $5 million federal transportation grant specifically for the purpose of beginning to create this network. And so we're planning to upgrade 6 waterfront landings in the Bronx, Manhattan, and Brooklyn to move packages as well as other commodities by water between those boroughs. And the last thing that I'll mention as a collaboration between EDC and DOT around sustainable freight is also looking at areas that are not close to water, but also supporting industrial companies in using electric trucks rather than diesel trucks for distribution. And so our role is to partner with private industry in identifying either city-owned sites or privately owned sites that could support shared charging depots and to actually implement the charging infrastructure that would support the adoption of electric trucks by industrial firms.
Thank you for that thorough response from both of you. It sounds like there's some interagency coordination, but just, I want to know if there's any interagency cooperation in studying the amount and type of industrial sites needed for uses like energy storage that are essential to transitioning to green energy. So I'm hearing, it sounds like a yes, but I'm wondering if we're deeply looking into what's being used and how much do we actually need to keep up with our green goals, and if that's data sets that we're using or metrics that we're using to continue on and investing into the industrial sector?
Yeah, so I can affirm that we are actively collaborating in this space, but it's a very new mode of transportation, of using waterways to move freight. So it's really hard at this early stage for us to quantify what the demand will look like. And so instead we rely on, again, sort of active industry engagement with what we call the end users, the package delivery companies that ultimately will be making choices between either continuing to use trucks or shifting that to either using water or rail for the movement of goods. And so it's hard to quantify what that demand is going to look like. They are also still sort of understanding how to shift their transportation systems into a new mode. But we think that there are market conditions that make this more feasible than ever before. Most importantly, congestion pricing, the approval by the federal government to implement congestion pricing, we think will be a huge driver for package delivery companies and industrial companies to really seriously consider using alternative modes of transportation. So we think that will help really compel companies to make different choices, and our role is to make that infrastructure available.
And
Great,
Councilmember, if I could also pick up, I know you also mentioned battery storage, which I think is another great example here where, quite frankly, we do not know exactly how many batteries will be needed in the city or the exact square footage associated with siting them. But what we do know is that it's a lot, and it's not just industrial areas, it's commercial areas and residences where we imagine batteries will be needed to store the energy that's being created on solar rooftops, for example. And so when we look at a policy like that, we try to understand the overall potential, the physical parameters of how those are stored and how zoning interacts with it. And what we discovered is that a lot of the battery storage that we know we are going to need, particularly in residences and commercial areas, is not allowed under our zoning today. So the City of Yes for Carbon Neutrality, one of the proposals that we'll be making is to enable exactly that kind of battery storage. So we think about that, we're informed by a sort of forecasting mentality of what do we need and what will be the physical parameters associated with it. We'll never have a magic number, right, that we can actually say X batteries and X square footage, but we can continually improve our zoning to enable the kinds of physical activities that we want to see. And so I want to put that out because I think you'll hear a lot of that from us about how we think about future forecasting and future-proofing our zoning to enable future needs, even as the exact size and physical footprint of those needs is not known, and much of it is happening on private property.
Sure. And so in that same vein, do you agree that there's a value in establishing a required interagency planning cycle for the industrial sector?
We do, and I think we really appreciate the council's attention. We think you've hit on something important about the visibility and transparency of all of the interagency collaboration that happens on this critical policy area. Devil's always in the details. We want to work with you to figure out how to make this work the right scope and scale of the improvements, but we do agree and we think philosophically we're aligned.
Great. Will there be a policy platform or report released by the administration's industrial working group?
Hi, this is Lindsay Green from the Navy Yard. I was one of the administration coordinators of the Industrial Working Group. Just to recap for those that may not know, the Industrial Working Group was convened by the administration principally as its own tool of outreach, and was comprised of various members of the industrial sector, principally businesses that had been successful across the different subsectors, as their voices don't always bubble up as much in conversation. We met several times, predominantly over the course of last year, and our goal has always been to take a lot of the feedback and concerns shared by those members and incorporate them into administration actions. We have been spending the last several months digesting that feedback and working with some of the other existing administration efforts that touch industrial policy, like some that the testimony mentioned. But we are in the process of finalizing that process with the IWG members in July.
Okay, so TBD.
July.
Okay,
Yes,
July. As I mentioned in my opening remarks, the industrial sector in New York City employs over 500,000 New Yorkers with an average annual salary of over $50,000. The workforce is over 80% people of color, and industrial jobs provide more than a third of New York City's jobs that pay over $50K and are available to those without a college degree. Really important stuff. Does the administration agree that growing industrial sector jobs, including green jobs, are important to advancing economic equity?
Absolutely, we do. I'm going to pivot to Neil to talk a little bit about how we support that.
Good afternoon. My name is Neil Patacone. I'm with the Mayor's Office of Talent and Workforce Development, managing our industry partnership with the manufacturing and industrial sectors. And yeah, I just want to echo exactly what you said about the importance of the sector in our job growth strategy. In particular, in his State of the City address, the mayor announced a sort of moonshot goal for connecting 30,000 New Yorkers with apprenticeships by the year 2030. And the industrial sector is really a primary vehicle through which we aim to accomplish that, for all the reasons that you mentioned. The accessibility, the lack of a requirement for formal certification for entry into a lot of these jobs, and frankly, because a lot of the jobs are earn while you learn models, they're particularly well suited for the apprenticeship model, which we think is easily scalable and will get us to our goals of attaining the 30,000 and advancing economic equity.
And does the administration share the prior admin's commitment to maintain industrial business zones for industrial and commercial uses?
We do share that commitment from the prior administrations, and I think we really appreciate the stability and predictability that those commitments have offered to industrial businesses, and that's been really important. That being said, the IBZs haven't been comprehensively looked at since their creation under the Bloomberg administration, and we think that the process that you're outlining and the opportunity to evaluate existing conditions and appropriate land use frameworks can help us take a refreshed look at whether we have all the tools we need.
Great. What baseline infrastructure such as broadband, clean energy, supply delivery, stormwater management, flood prevention, open space, shade, or others should New York City's industrial areas be equipped with to best support the industrial sector?
So we think that the types of infrastructure that you just described are important for supporting the competitiveness and long-term viability of industrial businesses. I would add also, I think another piece of important infrastructure is roadways and having clarity for industrial businesses about where trucks can and cannot go in the course of distributing their goods. Many of the infrastructure needs that you've listed are under the purview of sister agencies, obviously, so we do work together with DEP, for example, around stormwater and sewer infrastructure, or really with the Office of Technology and Innovation and broadband expansion. EDC's focus is on really investing the infrastructure to support city-owned industrial assets and the tenants there.
And what infrastructure investments has EDC made in IBZs over the past 10 years?
Yeah, so just to provide an example, I think generally EDC's focus on investments is really around creating leasable, affordable space, small and large sizes in our industrial assets. It's also about really integrating these industrial campuses with the surrounding community, and so that's been a real focus of our work, for example, in Hunts Point and at the Brooklyn Army Terminal at the Bush Made in New York campus. And then providing floodproofing where it's needed. And so Hunts Point is another example where flood protection is very important.
Bless you. On record. What is the total value of city and state financial incentives and workforce development expenditures distributed annually to industrial businesses and IBZs across the city?
So I can share from EDC's perspective that the IDA over the last 10 years has provided almost $500 million in incentives for more than 100 industrial and manufacturing projects that together leveraged over $1 billion in private sector investment. As you might know, the IDA works by really incentivizing private investment into industrial real estate and modernizing equipment at a large scale. So it does require, a private business to make that investment, and then our role is to lower the cost of that investment by providing property tax abatements, mortgage recording tax waivers, and sales tax waivers. I think by looking at the utilization of these incentives across all 5 boroughs, we believe that they have been effective, and we also have been able to confirm that through our continuous outreach to the IBZ service providers, business improvement districts, and other chambers of commerces, and promoting these programs and hearing their feedback that these incentives are important to maintain and to continue to promote. The other sort of incentive or program that I also really want to highlight is EDC's partnership with nonprofit industrial developers, and so through an industrial developer loan fund, we provided almost $40 million in city capital as well as affordable subordinate loans to facilitate industrial nonprofits like the Greenpoint Manufacturing Development Corporation, Evergreen Greater Jamaica Development Corporation, and even the Mutual Housing Association of New York in acquiring buildings and rehabbing buildings to provide multi-tenant and affordable spaces.
And do you folks have a breakdown by sector?
We don't have a breakdown by sector, so the data point that I shared of the IDA supporting 100 businesses is specific to industrial and manufacturing.
Okay.
And then I have a borough distribution, which is of those 100 projects, 40 of them were in Brooklyn, 11 in the Bronx, 36 in Manhattan, and 6 in Staten Island. And then we can get back to you if you want a more detailed breakdown.
Sure. I'm surprised Councilmember Borelli would be impressed with 6 in Staten Island. New York City needs to rapidly expand production, distribution, and uptake of clean energy to meet state and city requirements. The city will have to make space for assembly and staging of offshore wind turbines, battery storage, new green construction, businesses, expanded marine and rail freight transfer stations, electric truck charging depots, and other essential large-scale operations. What are the land use needs for each of these sectors, and what types of sites will be required for each sector, and how many?
Yeah, so I will start, and then I think Carolyn can also add to this. I think generally the green economy, that as we're learning through EDC's work in studying this very new industry in the city, is that it's not specific to one industry, but spans lots of industries, including buildings, transportation, finance and consulting, consumer products like sustainable food and clothing. And so because of such a diverse sort of multi-industry sector, their land use needs and their site needs are quite different as well. So as an example, we have offshore wind that needs to be located in industrial waterfront sites on significantly large parcels of land, typically 20 acres or more. But then in contrast, you have an emerging field called prop tech or real estate tech that's really focused on supporting building owners in complying to local law 97, for example, and designing and operating energy efficient buildings that are also decarbonized. Those activities could happen outside of manufacturing districts, in an office building, in a commercial district instead. So, that gives you a sense of how different and varied the land use and site requirements might be depending on the industry and business.
I'll pick up, I think Jen covered much of it, but to echo, I think when we think about this from a zoning perspective, those different kinds of and parameters of space needs for the different kinds of businesses tend to fall into these different categories. Can they be co-located, or do they really require open, sort of unbuilt kinds of, or very low scale building? And we think our zoning can really respond to those different kinds of conditions. We think there's a lot of opportunity in trying to unlock our industrial areas to do more co-location. We think that, typically that's how New York City creates more spaces, by building up. And so that opportunity, both in new construction as well as in our existing vacant commercial spaces, where those, for the businesses that where that can make sense, we think is a real opportunity. And we would say, that there are some businesses that have not historically operated in that context, but may still be able to if we make the right kinds of investments. And I think urban agriculture, small scale manufacturing, battery storage, hybrid production retail uses are the kinds of things that we think maybe have been in larger sites in industrial areas or maybe look physically different outside of New York City, but could work in that more vertical and dense environment. And then at the same time, you can't put a wind turbine inside of a building, and so we're going to need relatively unbuilt sites. Those are the hardest to locate in the city, and so thinking about the kinds of protections that we can offer to ensure that we reserve some amount of sort of unbuilt space as we also try to unlock is our objective.
If I could also just add some perspective on just seeing some of the very young companies that work in the green economy space. Some of them are still, they don't necessarily even have the best visibility of their future space needs or their ability to manufacture and where they manufacture. They're still creating the products that will help solve the problems and figuring out how to test them. And, you know, a lot of the city agencies are collaborating, trying to figure out where they can do that testing safely and get that real-world knowledge about what devices work and don't work so that they can figure out if they're going to manufacture it and how much. But it's still a very young industry. And so any of our ability to even produce something solid after a period of study, the entrepreneurs themselves don't even know those answers yet. So it's still coming.
Yeah, that's a really great point. I keep thinking as I'm sitting here, I think what folks view as industrial or green economy, it is shifting or maybe even becoming larger in terms of scope and what the definition used to be versus what it's going to be in the future. So thank you for making that note. I will yield right now and let Chair Salamanca ask questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Farias. Good afternoon, panel. Thank you for your testimony and your presentation. So as I mentioned in my opening statement, I represent the South Bronx. I have two big IBZs, Hunts Point being the biggest one, and also Port Morris. Local communities and environmental justice advocates have raised concerns about the development of large-scale e-commerce, last-mile distribution warehouses that are currently allowed to locate, as of right, in all M and C8 zoning districts. Certain neighborhoods like Red Hook and Hunts Point are experiencing a concentration of these new facilities and the associated impacts of increased truck traffic. Moreover, these facilities are currently allowed to occupy sites with potential access to maritime or rail freight without any required provisions to facilitate such access and utilization. Does DCP or EDC have any updates on the city's policy's response to this issue?
Great. Well, thank you, council member. And I first want to just acknowledge that we hear from your constituents as well. Councilmember Aviles, I know, has been very active on this issue as well. We hear it. We acknowledge and we agree that there are real challenges when you have a facility that is creating significant vehicular and truck traffic near where people live and where people go to school and where they work. Right, there are real environmental challenges that are being experienced by communities, and we are looking at that, and we are working on solutions. I want to also acknowledge there is a private application from the environmental justice community looking at one particular solution to these challenges that is in front of city planning in the pre-application stages, and we are looking at that in the same way we look at every other private application that comes before us, which is we are putting it through its environmental and technical review to prepare it for the public review, sort of ULURP process, and those meetings with the actual applicant teams are ongoing and have been happening, in recent days. The policy challenge here is a tough one because we, on the one hand, we are generating significant demand for logistics and transportation, which is allowed in our manufacturing districts and is a large component of the employment base and the ecosystem that is in our manufacturing districts. And our demand for those kinds of services increases as the city is increasing its volume of freight movement into the city. And we expect that demand for freight logistics and movement will continue to grow, and that when you, on the one hand, acknowledging the challenge of being close to residences, the flip is when we have facilities that are farther away from residences, we're increasing truck traffic to their final destinations. So how do we square that, that challenge? We're still looking at the zoning question. I think one thing that is most promising that Jen spoke about quite a bit is trying to find alternatives, right? And just trying to rethink our freight system to give us different options than large-scale truck distribution facilities, and really break down the model that is persisting. I'm going to turn to Jen and see if you want to talk a little bit more about how we're rethinking freight.
Sure, and.
Hold on,
Go ahead, Jared.
I want to stay on the last mile of what's happening. We could talk, because I also want to talk about Freight NYC, which was presented to my office a couple of years ago, and I just have a few questions on that. Now, let's go to the last mile facilities that we have. You do agree, does DCP agree that these last mile facilities raise environmental justice? They raise environmental justice issues in our communities?
Yeah, I think we absolutely acknowledge the issues that people are seeing, a proliferation of facilities that are generating truck traffic near their homes and schools. That's a real challenge.
So now, does the DCP or EDC track or have a list of last mile facilities throughout the city of New York?
We do, and it's a good question, because what we mean by last mile facility, it's not a defined term in zoning, and it's not a defined term in any other sort of legal definition. So some of the work we have been doing in thinking through this policy issue is developing an actual definition of that, and trying to track that through independent research. So we do have information we'd be happy to share with you, council member.
Does DCP or EDC or the administration agree that certain communities are overburdened with these last mile facilities compared to other communities?
Yes, I would say the physical location of our manufacturing districts is not equally spread across the city, and the juxtaposition between manufacturing zoned districts and residential areas, there are very specific communities that I think have that interaction more than others. And I think your community is one
Mine,
of them.
Sunset Park,
Absolutely.
there may be others.
And Red Hook, I would say.
I'm sorry, Red Hook, yeah. Look, I will be very clear here. In Hunts Point, Amazon is taking over Hunts Point communities when we're talking about last miles. Now, do they bring a convenient service? Absolutely. I'm a customer. Many of my neighbors, my wife, always have to buy something for my son. It's much easier when you're working fast-paced to get a package delivered to you. But when you drive through Hunts Point, in Hunts Point we have the world's largest markets, food, produce, and fish. Plus we have over 700 businesses in that community. And we're seeing Amazon moving in and taking over these empty warehouses, or you have other light manufacturing businesses in which they're not doing as well as they were years ago, and therefore they're selling their property over to Amazon. So you compound the 15 or 18,000 trucks that are coming in and out of Hunts Point every day just for these other businesses, and then you tag along a couple of hundred, maybe thousands of smaller vehicles who are coming in to do deliveries throughout the borough of the Bronx, which is a problem. Now, I know that maybe there may be some public testimony later on to speak on the concept of a special permit for these last mile facilities, something similar to what we did with hotels in the city of New York. I am a big proponent of that. My question is EDC open to putting together a text amendment so that we can propose a special permit for these last mile facilities?
Sure, and Councilmember, you said EDC. I'm going to assume you meant city planning.
Let's say the administration,
Yes.
right? EDC and
So I
city
want to
planning.
acknowledge again, the special permit application that you're speaking of is in front of city planning. It has been submitted as an application, and it is going through the pre-application process as we speak, which requires an environmental and a technical review, and I know those teams are.
Where are we
going
with
to
that
meet.
status, with that application, in terms of
I
the
can
environmental review?
I can tell you that the applicant teams met with city planning within recent weeks. And so they are, as I understand it, they are in that environmental review process. It would be premature for me to judge that. Ultimately, it will be the City Planning Commission and the City Council to judge the merits of that application.
All right. Well, just know that this council member and land use chair is a big proponent of that, and I would love to see a special permit that we can implement for these last miles so we can track them. Is there, now, in terms of a few more questions, DCP and EDC, do you guys have a tracking mechanism for these last mile facilities, especially in IBZs?
We don't have a tracking mechanism. We have done research to define what we think is meant by a last mile facility, and using private proprietary, real estate data, understanding, have collected information about where we agree, but they are not specifically licensed as a last mile facility, so we do not have a tracking mechanism, I think, in the sense you mean it. Which, by the way, is consistent with, we don't have a tracking mechanism for, an office building either, but we use multiple data sources to, learn where office buildings are and their space needs. So we're able to draw on a large set of both government and third-party data sources to look at land use conditions.
All right. And Speaker Adams' 2023 State of the City report, as well as the coalition of council members representing IBZs, have called for DCP to create a new M zone as part of the forthcoming zoning for economic opportunity text amendment. Does DCP agree to work with the council to accomplish this goal and finally create new zoning tools for manufacturing districts?
Absolutely. I spoke considerably in my testimony about the new M-Zone tools. We're really excited about it, and we're having continued conversations with the council to shape those tools.
Okay. Freight NYC, where are we with the implementation?
Yeah, so I can speak to that,
Yes.
Chair Salamanca.
Thank
It's
you.
good to see you again. As you might remember, in December 2021, the EDC and DOT actually partnered together to issue a joint vision and an update to Freight NYC called Delivering Green that really, I think, doubled down on our commitment to working together to create a more sustainable freight network. I'm happy to say that, since that report, we've succeeded in securing an over $5 million federal grant, which we're in the initial stage of planning for, really investing in those grant funds and upgrading 6 waterfront landings to begin to create a marine highway network. So I would consider this a pilot project that brings together both public waterfront landings that are managed by EDC. So 5 of them are publicly owned in Manhattan and in Brooklyn, and then 1 is privately owned actually in your district at Hunts Point, the Oak Point waterfront landing. So as you might know, we've been partnering with the owner there as well as community stakeholders in Manhattan Beer and piloting the use of water for transporting beer from the Bronx to Lower Manhattan. So that's an example of how marine freight can be used either to transport other goods like beer or other commodities, or even package deliveries with Amazon, UPS, and FedEx.
This $5 million grant that you received from the federal government, is it to do a study and pay lobbyists, or is it to actually physically create these loading docks and the infrastructure needed?
It's to invest in the infrastructure. So specifically, it's about, depending on each site and its infrastructure needs, it's putting in what we call spud barges and gangways to allow for marine vessels to dock at these landings and support the weight of either an electric delivery truck, a cargo van, or e-cargo bikes to roll off of those vessels upland. To then distribute, in a zero-emission way.
Okay. Of these few loading docks that you mentioned, or waterfront landings, which one do you anticipate opening up first?
We're actually moving all of them forward at the same time, even though depending on sort of their existing condition and infrastructure needs, they might not all be delivered at the same time, but our goal is to try to have them in place by 2025. I would say that the more the more challenging aspect of this is less on the infrastructure side, but really ensuring that there are going to be customers who use the service. And so in addition to moving forward on the capital improvements, we're hyper-focused in making sure that we're in touch with the customers, the package delivery companies, industrial companies, to make sure that they're aware of the improvements that we're making, but also to system plan to understand where they will be shipping things into the city and making sure that those are matched together so that their shipping point comes from a place where they're using water and they're putting commodities on boats and then shipping that into the city to the waterfront landings that we control.
Yeah. My only concern that I have with Freight NYC is, and I'll give you an analogy. In Hunts Point, we have the produce market. We may get produce to come in the barge. You may get the Hunts Point business to go pick up the produce, then take it back to their business, and then you may get an outsider coming in and then coming back out. I'm just concerned about the amount of truck routes or visits that we will get, and opposed to that produce coming into the market and then coming right back out. That's just my only concern that I
Yeah,
have.
no, I think you raise a really important point, which is that I think in designing and operationalizing the system, we continuously hear that minimizing the number of touches
Yes.
and moving produce between different modes of transportation is really important. So our challenge is creating a really time and cost-effective service that companies will actually use. Understanding that, we're not relying just on marine highways being the solution, but I think you alluded to rail infrastructure, and I think that's why, the produce market modernization, it's important to continue to preserve and improve that rail infrastructure to offer as many different modes of transportation as possible. And then the last thing is our partnership with Volvo, community stakeholders in your district around Breathing Green, and leveraging the NYSERDA funds to create a shared electric truck charging depot, recognizing that companies might fundamentally continue to use trucks, but really supporting their ability to replace diesel trucks with electric trucks by offering that infrastructure, while continuing to look for ways to make that transition more affordable. So the other last thing that I'll mention is partnerships with companies that specifically target industrial firms that don't own their vehicles but lease their vehicles. So they're offering a service where they also lease electric trucks rather than compelling industrial companies to purchase electric trucks. So they can try it, it's more affordable. They also offer the maintenance and repair services, so it's sort of an all-packaged service that makes it more attractive for companies to actually consider making that transition.
I want to give a big shout out to Manhattan Beer for implementing their electric trucks. Their entire fleet is not electric, but to see that they've invested and have worked with EDC to implement this, I just want to recognize them for that. I have two more questions and then I'll hand it off to my colleagues. I've been in the council for 7 years. Prior to that, I was a district manager for 5.5 years. In the beginning of my term as a district manager, EDC came and presented the alternative fuel station on Food Center Drive in Halleck. Till this day, it is just an empty lot with garbage. What's the status of that project?
I should confirm with my project team, but my understanding is that I don't think the alternative fuels project is moving forward, and we look forward to working with you to think about a better and different use for that site.
Okay. And then finally, when managing and planning for city-owned properties like the Hunts Point Terminal Market or Sunset Park Waterfront, what factors does EDC consider when deciding what types of uses or businesses to plan for and attract?
So EDC really approaches this with a sensitivity to the specific industrial asset and the kinds of spaces that they offer. So for example, in Hunts Point, as you know, the campus is a mix of, relatively low-story buildings, as well as multi-tenant buildings like the wholesale markets. Because it's an existing food industry cluster, a lot of our business attraction is around strengthening that existing food cluster. So that explains why we really partnered with the state, for example, in bringing other types of food businesses that would complement the existing types of businesses that were there. Since food wholesaling and distribution was so prominent, when there was an opportunity to respond to consumer interest in more locally grown produce, and the Grow NYC identified a need for a wholesale regional food hub, we thought that that was an important opportunity to bring that kind of food business into the Hunts Point Peninsula. Similarly, Baldor, They do food wholesaling and distribution, but they also provide a different kind of service to restaurants and retailers in terms of value-add food processing. So there, our strategy around business attraction is really about strengthening the existing cluster by supporting a diversity of food businesses and business models. Whereas in Sunset Park, you have a campus like the Brooklyn Army Terminal, where it's multi-buildings, small as well as large spaces that then provide the environment for supporting a greater diversity of industrial businesses rather than a single industrial cluster. So at Brooklyn Army Terminal, you find instead a mix of light industrial, wholesale distribution, food production, garment manufacturing, because again, the variety of spaces that are there are different, and there isn't an existing industrial food cluster for us to focus on, so it's much more diverse.
All right, with that, I want to thank you for your answers, and I just want to give EDC also, I want to say thank you in Hunts Point, because we have so many projects occurring, and we feel that agencies do not speak to one another. We formed the Hunts Point Longwood Coalition, and EDC gave funding to this coalition, which we were able to put together the Hunts Point Forward Plan on how to move Hunts Point forward in the next 10 years. So I want to continue working with you and your president on ensuring that we implement some of these recommendations that the community has. And with that, thank you.
Yeah, I look forward to your partnership.
Thank you so much. I'd like to acknowledge you've been joined by Councilmember Aviles, and I will now call on Councilmember Gutierrez to ask her question.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon. She's not here, but there she is. I want to uplift Diana Reyna, my predecessor, and huge advocate for manufacturing. Thanks for continuing your advocacy. I also want to uplift the speaker who at her State of the City and certainly today has continued to really stay the path on the economic opportunity that lies in our manufacturing district. So really excited to have you all here. My first question is related to the intro that Chair Farias and myself and a few other colleagues are introing and would love to discuss, which is Intro 1012. I don't know if you've had a chance to review it yet, but can you speak to whether or not you are in support of it at DCP?
Sure. Thank you, Councilmember. It's great to see you. We are. We testified that we think that the council has hit on some really worthy goals here. I hope we have given the impression rightfully that we are in coordination across sister agencies on a whole host of the issues that are important to our industrial areas and our industrial businesses, but we think that a bill that helps formalize and makes some of that process more transparent and sort of systematically forward-thinking could be a really good complement, especially as we do work on the green economy at EDC, as we're thinking about freight reinvention, and as we create new zoning tools through City of Yes that we believe will help unlock opportunities in our industrial areas. We think all of that could be a complement working on a plan. We want to work with the council to shape it and make it feasible and impactful in the right ways, but we are absolutely testifying in support of the idea.
Wonderful, thank you. And I also wanted to just thank you and the team for just having the lines of communication open with my colleagues here. I think it's been a really, really good use of all of our time and really exciting. I wanted to touch on a couple of things that are important and personal to me in my district. I'll touch quickly on the industrial plan, but curious because for a long time advocates have really been pushing different administrations to use best practices in other cities to update the M zoning district to really preserve essential industrial spaces and to limit unrelated commercial uses. Can you speak to that under this administration? What can you speak on to that?
Sure. Well, first I want to start with, and I think that 1012 speaks to this as well. We talked a little bit in this in our testimony, but I think that the idea of looking at peer cities is actually a really important one, and it's a hard one to do when you don't prioritize it, but we have been doing a good amount of that at city planning. And, I will say from our preliminary, research, we actually think we're sort of in the middle when it comes to other American cities and thinking about our private industrial market. There are cities that are far more industrial, both in terms of proportionally the amount of land zoned, their industrial base, and the way that they're incorporating industrial planning into their economic development in a way that isn't a really good comparable. And I'll use Detroit as like an example where there's significantly more industrial land, and the kinds of industrial properties that they're able to attract are large GM plants, right? We're talking about, 1 million square foot footprint on an interstate, very anti-urban, right? So even though it's within a city boundary, it's not a model that's really comparable for us. Or I mentioned in my testimony Micron, another good example, a business that went to upstate New York, occupying a site that is the size of LaGuardia Airport. So a lot of modern industrial development in the United States that is repatriating from global economies looks like that, and that we think is fundamentally the wrong model for New York City. But where we do think, so that's one side of the equation. The other side of the equation of what we see in the United States is a city like Washington, D.C., that essentially has rezoned to other uses all of its private industrial space. They have a little bit of a something equivalent to the Brooklyn Navy Yard, and so fundamentally under public control, and even that is not really fully industrial. It has much more of a commercial quality to that. And we think that's the wrong model too. We actually think that the 30,000 acres of private industrial space we have, not under public control, right, a private market for industrial land, is also really important. So that space of, still having a quite considerable industrial market, and not rezoning all of it away, but also not trying to mimic cities that have a space and an infrastructure that is very different than ours and effectively anti-urban. We think we need to position somewhere in between those. So how do we learn the best from those models? I think we are learning them in City of Yes. We're trying to update those our tools. It is true, as we discussed, that our manufacturing districts historically have allowed for a wide range of uses. We think that is also fundamental to their success and diversity, but we understand that when we have significant job growth that is non-industrial in areas where we're not adding space, that is also contributing to a perception of competition. And so, to us, the first and most important thing we should do is address the space crunch and find places to put more businesses, both by building up in our industrial areas and by unlocking our commercial areas for a wider diversity of businesses. But we also think, as I said before, you can't put a wind turbine inside a building. So as we think about ways to build up and densify in our industrial areas to find more opportunities for co-location, we're also going to have to think about what areas are sort of off limits or undeveloped, so that we're still preserving that openness for our most critical and sort of most industrial assets.
Can I just ask a follow-up question, Chair? I'm gonna go ahead. Yeah, thanks. Both chairs. Thank you. So just a follow-up to that. So I hear what you're saying. Obviously, and certainly encourage that the Department of City Planning wants to plan, and I can certainly appreciate that. However, my concern, and I'm speaking to District 34, but I think we're all here because there's this level of anticipation. If we're all hands on deck for this bill and for City of Yes, for example, we've seen other cities that clearly are restricting non-commercial uses in commercial districts as a way to preserve manufacturing. And I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, that there's a balance. But what I'm hearing in my district is when we are allowing for non-commercial uses in the core district specifically, that speculation alone can be very harmful. And with so many other incentives that really are not made available to manufacturing business owners, that's problematic. And in many ways, I think that the North Brooklyn Industrial Plan kind of highlights that and can set the tone for other industrial sections in the district, in the city, excuse me. But I'm concerned that we're not going hard enough on this idea, on this concept, seeing how useful and how beneficial it has been in other cities with similar amounts of dynamics that you yourself highlighted. It is a concern for me that we're not doing enough, that we're not moving urgently to do both things at the same time, which is utilizing this idea of a core district to preserve manufacturing, and at the same time saying we have to restrict these non-commercial uses in these spaces.
Yeah, I think, Councilmember, where I think we definitely agree with you that our manufacturing zones need an update. They're not really working for anyone, right? They're not working to really put our industrial areas on their best foot forward in terms of economic growth, and they're not working to support our businesses that want to expand, and they're making people feel pressure. So we think the City of Yes tools can help us create some better ways to address that, but we're going to need to work together with you to shape them and also to deploy them, because we will need to do that in areas, right? We can create the tools, but then we're going to have to go through the process of really revisiting our industrial areas and trying to actually give them the tools they need to grow and grow differently. We look forward to that conversation with you as well.
Okay, and I'll just say one last thing, because it's important for the record. My main concerns, specifically for North Brooklyn, is the way that nightlife is occupying a massive amount of space in our core district. And I know I've brought this up, and I know we're working through it, but would love to also hear in that continued conversation what you all believe is the key value there, or the challenge in supporting nightlife in core districts, especially in North Brooklyn, is something that I look forward to continuing that advocacy and conversation on. Thank you. Thank you, both chairs.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Gutierrez. I'd now like to call Councilmember Aviles for her questions.
Good afternoon, everyone. Apologies for my delay, and thank you for being here and responding to council questions. So, as you know, we've been talking a lot about Sunset Park, and certainly Red Hook, our waterfront and industrial sector is very important to me. I've had many conversations. Want to give a shout out to some of the EDC team that we've been troubleshooting some issues with of recent. Just to note, I think what's really important for us is we know that closing the loopholes, right, in both the zoning and kind of what is allowable is critically important because of the corrosiveness of what is happening and the withering away of our industrial zones. I mean, what is Councilmember Gutierrez's challenge of nightclubs is my challenge of last mile facilities. That is quite frankly a corrosive element within our industrial business zone. No one can compete with Amazon facilities who have endless reams of money and buy incredibly large swaths of facilities, and they can do what they want with them. And we have no tools to mitigate, no tools to address. So obviously this is a huge issue for us in our district. Appreciate the work you're doing, and we're gonna continue to push, because every day that goes by, another facility is in the process of converting under right. And with 9 already in the small geography of Red Hook, we are at an impossible stage. And so I'm looking for urgent, all hands on deck, immediate action today, because the houses on Van Brunt are falling into the street today. So I guess what I would like to know is, I guess to go back to Sunset Park, we know we have a number of projects in our industrial business zone that EDC is involved with that does not provide adequate job data once the project is implemented. We often hear promises about job creation with little understanding of how projections are made or how they actually pan out. Well, this problem obviously is not exclusive to EDC, and we see this happening in other economic development projects. I would like to understand very specifically what the methodology EDC employs at arriving job descriptions. How does EDC monitor actual local hiring? I have yet to see a data set that tells me anyone in our neighborhood is actually being employed in any of the major footprint within our community. So how that local hiring is monitored once employment projections are made to make sure the project is staying on target, on which, if any projects, EDC provides employment data to the public. And lastly, why doesn't EDC provide employment statistics publicly? I know this has been an ongoing conversation in our community for quite some time. And lastly, if we can be provided with any employment data related to Brooklyn Army Terminal, as well as the South Brooklyn Marine Terminal.
So Councilmember, I will say I probably don't have the answers to all those questions, but generally in terms of job projections, I know that we have an economic research group within EDC that does a lot of forecasting to understand the economic impact of projects, specifically that will be receiving city capital. And so under that very specific scenario, our group internally will then use a methodology to understand and forecast what the job impact, what the revenue impact might be from making that city capital investment. Then through our real estate dispositions and RFPs, I know that we integrate into those RFPs when we are either leasing or selling city-owned property, the requirement for the developer to participate in Hire NYC. And through that, we have the mechanism to then monitor whether they are complying with that, in addition to trying to support and connect that developer and their tenants to services like at SBS and other local workforce service providers to ensure that there's targeted marketing in the local neighborhood where the project's going to be developed. And then once that project is developed, stabilized, and fully occupied, there's ongoing monitoring for a period of time of whether they've complied with Hire NYC. We are also going through the process because we think it's important, as you do, and really understanding whether our job forecast in fact materializes into real jobs, and then how many local residents are participating in those job opportunities. What I'm seeing are two data sources. One is we're trying to establish a way of working with our tenants around self-reporting to better understand within the assets managed by EDC, what is the workforce, what are the number of jobs, what does workforce participation look like? And then we're also looking at external data sources like the Department of Labor, and then together sort of providing a more holistic picture and an understanding of
So do you
jobs.
have any data related
do.
to Sunset Park? Because I have not seen a data
Yes,
source.
I can
And I'd love
share.
to receive probably the written protocol of the methodology, because I'm not quite sure I understand it. I know we get a lot of projections, 5,000, 3,000. We have yet to receive any clear sourced data around how many residents actually are participating or benefiting from the hundreds of millions of dollars the city has invested in any of the property managed by EDC. I would love to see that data. And I'd like to know, why doesn't the agency publicly note that data?
I can't answer that question. I don't know what our policy is around disclosure. There might be certain legal requirements that prevent us from actually sharing that data because it might be proprietary, but I don't want to speculate any further. And so, I will certainly talk with our research department to understand what can be shared, and if we're not able to share it, why not? And also to kind of walk you through the methodology. But the data that I am able to share today comes from the New York State Department of Labor. It comes from their quarterly census of employment and wages. And because it's reported on a quarterly basis, the numbers that we have for a full year, the most recent data is for 2021. And according to that data source, looking at our industrial assets in Sunset Park, we have, for example, at Brooklyn Army Terminal, over 3,000 jobs, specifically 3,271 jobs that were reported in 2021. Then at the Brooklyn Wholesale Meat Market, we have 600.
So it actually just proves my point. So of the 3,000 jobs, we have no idea if one of those jobs was received by a Sunset Park resident.
We would not from this data
Right.
source, is my guess. We
Right.
would probably rely on tenants to then have to survey their workforce to understand
Have you
that.
collected any data of any of your tenants that reside on any properties in Sunset Park.
I will need to confirm that with
Okay.
my colleagues.
Right, because we received 3,000. We see companies moving in with their employees from other neighborhoods. We do not see the employment opportunity in our district. So I guess, just, Chair, if I could, we also have, similarly, all right, we have the Made in New York campus, which is a very huge project in our industrial zone. It was announced, elected officials, it was said that there was going to be a lot of public engagement. The project has grown substantially in size and scope from 300,000 square feet to now 1.5 million square feet, from an initial investment of 136 million to 323 million. Huge growth. We are curious about at what threshold does the size and scope of these projects change, and how community is or is not involved? It seems like it was not. We just kind of received that the project continues to grow, continues to receive public subsidy, with no clear local impact and requests around how that is actually going to benefit the community. We understand, obviously, there was a CBA that was connected to the project. It's unclear to me who's holding the accountability around the CBA. And when a CBA was done with, let's say the scope of the project initially was 123, it is now tripled. Does the CBA also triple in size and scope with that kind of investment? So I'd love to know, like, who is holding the CBA? How is that being held accountable? And does it also change in size and scope as the projects increase?
I again will need to follow up with my colleagues to be able to provide answers to that. I know just generally from my experience with CBAs, that is one of the challenges, is that the city doesn't typically play a role of enforcing that CBA, because it's usually negotiated between a coalition of community groups and the developer. And so in that scenario, it often falls upon that coalition of community groups to then play that ongoing monitoring and enforcement role. But again, I'll ask the question of my colleagues to understand if that's the case here or different.
Sure, and here too, same question around employment data. How much of this $300 million project will we see a job from our community? And what kind of job? We not only want to see the 30 jobs, we want to see, are they full-time jobs? Are they part-time jobs? Are they living wage jobs? We'd like to see the full data set around what these economic developments are actually producing for the local community that bears the brunt of these industries. So yeah, I just want to quickly, Chair, if I may, seg for a quick question to our DCP colleagues. I came in late, so I don't know. There you go, sorry. On May 22nd, our office sent a letter to DCP asking for clarification on a project at 6128 8th Avenue. And we have not yet received a response from your office. I'd like to flag it to you and would like to know, when can we expect a response from this letter? It's particularly important and highly contentious.
Sure, Councilmember. I'm not familiar with the issue, but I have written down the address, and I can assure you that as soon as this meeting ends, we will go get you an update.
Awesome, and I have more questions, but I'm going to give it back to the chair so I could get myself together, and would love to revisit all this work, but thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilmember Aviles. I just have a couple quick questions for SBS. Which offices within SBS work with industrial businesses and IBZs? And how many staff are dedicated to serving the industrial sector?
Thank you very much for that question. Within SBS, we have multiple divisions. The Division of Business Services, which is my division, we manage the 9 industrial business service providers. And through that, we have 14 staff members. The Workforce Development Center, which manages the Workforce One Industrial Center and the Industrial Transportation Career Centers, which there are 4 of those. There are 56 staff members.
Great, thank you. And then what information does SBS currently collect about industrial businesses in New York City, and how is it collected, how often, when is it made available, if it is at all?
The IBSP providers are responsible for collecting data to inform their services. It's very informally done. It's part of when they do outreach into the community. So they look at things like market trends or openings in different communities, anything that they notice that might impact their delivery of service.
Okay, great. And then how does SBS currently ensure that services are reaching industrial businesses in each IBZ? And what does SBS view as most effective in industrial business support services and incentive programs?
SBS is taking a very proactive approach in our outreach. So we're doing more door-to-door outreach as well as quarter tours, which we've done with many of these council members. So thank you very much for that. So for example, during Small Business Month, the month of May, we actually reached between door-to-door outreach and our events during the month, we reached 3,000 businesses throughout the neighborhoods. In terms of our the best service the IBSPs provide, we actually the IBSP providers work with businesses to apply for different incentives. So there are a number of them that it varies depending on the business, but they'll actually help them with the applications.
Okay, great, thank you. We have, Councilmember Aviles does have additional questions, so we're gonna give her like a couple minutes. I'm sorry, I'm done with my questioning, but I can always look for more things to ask. Sure.
I do have a question I was excited to hear in your comprehensive but lengthy testimony, so I'm sorry if I missed it, but I have it in print, so I will read it afterwards. Just about battery storage, I would love to hear a little bit more on how you are all moving forward. I'm obviously very supportive of it, but in my district, there was a little bit of contention around the installation of battery storage in a particular, one-off building. And while I do believe we all have to do our part, my understanding is, we have a long way to go in the city of New York as far as battery storage. So would love to hear what the administration's long-term plan is, how you are all engaging, and what's really the best role that the council can play, especially for those of us that are in support of meeting our goals quickly.
So Councilmember, I think what you're alluding to is perhaps a lot of the safety concerns, right? Especially because the types of battery used for energy storage systems might be similar to the batteries in e-bikes, which have escalated, I think, some concern.
Oh, I'm personally not concerned. I know the distinction.
I know you are, but
I've been totally
yes.
prepped on it. I think it's mainly about what I guess what I wanted to say is what I learned from that experience is it was a drop in the bucket, what we were trying to do in that particular building. I'm curious, what is the role that we can play in doing more quickly? But I appreciate that you're raising that because, yes, there needs to be a distinction made, and you're more than welcome to make that on the record, but I am fully aware.
Right, and so what I was trying to get to is that I think, so city planning is trying to make it more possible for battery storage to happen in more buildings. EDC's role is through the IDA to offer the tax incentives to make that capital investment for actually building battery storage systems more affordable, so lowering the cost of capital investment. But I think there's a whole regulatory side where there's probably still room for thinking about working with the FDNY, Department of Buildings, about where to streamline the permitting of battery storage systems while still balancing that with safety.
Yeah, I think Jen covered it, council member, but I will just clarify in particular, the City of Yes for Carbon Neutrality text amendment is looking at lifting some of the zoning barriers to siting them. Battery storage is allowed in manufacturing districts today in an unlimited square footage way. So there, we think the issue is really about cost, and I think that's where the IDA subsidies have been effective in a number of cases already. But zoning does not allow battery storage in commercial and residential areas except in limited cases today. And so we're making some very important improvements through that proposal because the battery storage, as I think you're also alluding to, it's not just about in some cases it's a field like a substation. In other cases, we're talking about solar arrays on a rooftop that are linked to storage within a residential or a commercial building. But today, zoning treats that the same as a power plant. And so, that is one good case. And by the way, I think in my comprehensive but lengthy testimony, you will see, a lot of the cases where we're thinking about just breaking down that binary sense of industrial and non-industrial, because there's such a wide spectrum here, and we think that that binary sense is what's gotten it, particularly in zoning, in the way in the past of allowing us to bring more industrial uses into our commercial areas. And so this is, a lot of the improvements we're making in both the carbon neutrality text amendment and in economic opportunity are unleashing uses that are only in our manufacturing districts because they've been so permissive, and giving them other opportunities outside because we think they're needed, because we think they reduce vacancy, they give businesses more flexibility, and they're a relief valve to the M districts themselves.
I see what you did there with the binary piece. I got it. Can I ask one just follow-up question and then I'm done? Lindsay, shout out to you. We had a wonderful tour last week, I think. Would love to hear, I don't know if you got to look at the bill we're discussing today, but would love to hear. And you've been so active, a part of the working group. Would love to hear if there's anything that you reviewed in the bill that is a flag to you. For example, the timeline that we've proposed, the kind of reviewing of it every 5 years. Certainly the sponsors of the bill feel this is much needed. We've never ever actually done kind of a comprehensive planning. Would love to hear if there's any initial flags for you, someone who has so much experience in this.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Yes, we've all looked at the bill, and I echo my colleagues' comments that the goals are laudable, and we all have, spent much of our career trying to do this work. We've shared a lot of our sort of technical feedback. I do think, candidly, doing the work, just the questions that Councilmember Avila's asked about the data and our ability to actually know some of this information, get it from the businesses who are busy trying to run their business and don't really want to respond to a tenant survey. I'm living that in real time at the Navy Yard, even if it is a requirement of someone at least to tell us how many people they've hired and what their wages are. Getting them to comply without having to be really heavy-handed is quite difficult. And that's just trying to do things like count the number of people. Right, and we can do that in other ways, whether they have, whether we count access. And so there's a lot of layers to it. So I think it's quite a significant, boots on the ground kind of effort to do a lot of the work and have it be smart and thoughtful. So I think the timing is really intense to be able to do it and then give the administration time to put together a policy that responds to the data and then try to enact it. That might get a little tight.
The 5-year timeline?
Yeah. Just thinking through our own work on our master plan. Obviously the pandemic put some pause in new construction, but thinking about the work that goes into looking at what kind of building you might want to build, and then trying to figure out how much it costs and how do you design a building for industrial businesses of the future as opposed to just the ones you have today. And then figuring out going and getting those tenants and having them sign up to say, yes, I know how much space I might need in a few years. It just can take a lot of time, because a lot of the businesses really love what they're trying to do. They're working very hard. They don't have the luxury of planning very far ahead unless they're very big corporations like a General Motors or folks that are like Fortune 1000 companies. And those don't tend to be the folks that do manufacturing in New York City for a lot of reasons and the changing demographics of businesses over the last decades. But it's something I think we would all love to see change if we're going to have a mature, thriving industrial and manufacturing sector. I think it'll just take us some time.
Yeah, I think, and we'll continue having that discussion, but, certainly Chair Farias in Workforce, I think, does a lot of this kind of like reporting, and I do think it's so vital. I would love to understand a little bit more, maybe offline, on like what those challenges look like, and how we can be helpful, how tech can be helpful. But I think it's important that we do kind of push back a little bit on that, because that's why we're here.
Totally.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, and Councilmember Aviles.
Yes. Thank you. I'm ready. And I appreciate what you were saying about the complexity of obviously collecting the data. We're very aware of that challenge, but I think, I hope you understand how frustrating it is as a community to see millions of dollars being pumped into private businesses, always with the promise of jobs for your community, and never seeing that materialize because it's just so hard to collect. So, you know, we can figure this out, and we have to be honest about what it is. And so we'll continue to ask those questions, but certainly recognize these are complicated, but not complex. But I guess I wanted to go back to last mile, since, you know, it's my favorite topic. I guess with regard to the special permit application, which I was proud to be a signatory on that, I wonder, given the scope and scale of the last mile problem, with which DCP acknowledges, whether consideration would be given to waiving the enormous fees associated with the application process so that our CBOs don't bear the brunt of the city's lack of planning around this particular issue.
Okay, Councilmember, I don't feel prepared personally to speak to our ability to waive fees. I'm happy to have our administration. That is a question I would certainly be directing to our council's office and our ability to change fee structure for particular applicants.
Fair response. And as I mentioned earlier, you know, we have millions of square feet within a very small community coming online, generating emissions, traffic, pedestrian safety hazards. What are the steps that DCP and other agencies that are here can implement immediately to mitigate some of this impact, specifically related to last mile facilities?
Sure. Well, first of all, Councilmember, I'm not sure if you were here for the entire conversation on this earlier, so I just want to say, while you're in the room, that we absolutely acknowledge the challenges that you're experiencing in Red Hook. I know you work very closely with our Brooklyn office. Our transportation team is looking at some of the issues there too, and we work very closely with our colleagues at DOT. And I know that some of the most basic things about truck routes and striping and pedestrian safety interventions on Red Hook streets, like those interventions, which I believe you've also been in discussions about, are the most immediate things that can be done to address. The challenge of what we do about last mile facilities in general, a very complicated but not complex one, right? I think it boils down to, we're creating a demand for freight, and this is the way that our system is responding to meet that freight demand right now. So as a land use matter, I think we are trying to balance the challenges of, you know, our manufacturing districts in some part doing what they are supposed to do, which is support transportation and logistics for the city, running up against the very real challenge when they are near residences and near schools, and how we physically balance that. But I think the even larger question is, can we change the system, right? We are not going to stop demanding freight, so can we make the system behave differently by introducing alternatives to trucks and alternatives to these sort of mega distribution centers by breaking that down into the more neighborhood distribution models. And I think there's efforts on both of those fronts to try and be more long-term. So to me, there's not a single response. Some of it is, what can we do today on the ground with facilities that many of which have already been built in your neighborhood? What can we do to think about how these facilities get built differently? And then what do we do to rethink our freight system entirely?
Yeah, and what is, no, I appreciate that. And what is a healthy industrial sector look like?
You're really, the most meta question of the
and
entire...
you don't have to go full, but I think this is a question that we obviously struggle with living with the industrial sector, right?
Yeah.
Seeing a healthy, I think the simple answer parallels a community, right? A kind of diverse ecosystem of things that we need, right? That is kind of interconnected. What we are seeing, though, is an industrial sector, obviously, that has gone through many waves or evolutions in time, right, depending on a whole bunch of factors, but that is now seemingly getting sucked up by one sector with no avail and no safeguards for communities around how those. So I think this is what we're all contending with, is how do we safeguard and change both the zoning, the land use principles that guide that, how agencies are assessing or not assessing until after the fact, and mitigating kind of what currently is there. But it's kind of the meta question that we are struggling as we're watching our industrial sector shift in ways that feel very unhealthy, or certainly unhealthy for the people that live there. So we don't have to answer the whole question now, but I guess I'd love to know, in terms of the legislation, in terms of the industrial plans, which we are very, very supportive and happy to see, would you be open to looking at cumulative impacts within an industrial sector? And what I mean is like the environmental justice impacts of having all these kinds of a variety of facilities together, often adjacent to communities of color or integrated in communities of color. But cumulative impacts seem to be kind of a lost notion, and you don't often see city agencies looking at it until it's too late, right? Until we're trying to truly repair something that is frighteningly broken. Would you be open to looking at I can't say the word, cumulative environmental justice impacts?
Sure. So there are a few legal ways. I think the phrase cumulative impact may trigger some specific legal obligations we actually do have under both the SEQR law and other federal environmental justice laws. So I think the answer is we may have some obligation to do that, but as a practical matter, so I'm going to say, not using the technical definition, but do we look at, and are we open to looking at the preponderance of facilities in a particular area and how that's relative to other areas? Absolutely, we do all the time, and we're very well aware that many of the facilities are being built in your district as well as in Councilmember Salamanca's district. By the way, when you look at a regional perspective, those are not the only two sites, right? We're actually also equally aware that our neighbors in New Jersey and Pennsylvania are building last mile facilities and distribution facilities that service New York City's consumer demand at exponentially larger numbers, right? So I think we actually do look at that and try to understand the entire system, more globally. And I think to us, it's just a fundamental question of the demand is not going away for servicing freight, and particularly consumer and freight into New York City. So how do we site that in a way that is more beneficial to communities? And historically, we have relied on our manufacturing areas to be the place where we can site that. But in your case, I think there's a very particular challenge about the relationship between our manufacturing areas, which should be servicing our transportation and logistics needs, also being really close to residences and schools in particular. So I think we're absolutely open to that, but I think that's fun from a planning perspective. I think our challenge is really thinking about what is the outcome we would like to see that still allows the city to be serviced, but reduces the conflict. And it is a deep challenge, and the best answer we have is thinking about neighborhood scaled and alternative systems that reduce some of that demand in the form that is most problematic for communities.
Sure, and when you understand the cumulative impact, right, in relation to the community that is housing those facilities, and you have a guardrail in place where you understand 6 facilities means this much billions in toxins into the air, we won't continue to site facilities or allow them to be kind of unregulated and having such issues speaking today. So this is obviously is an ongoing conversation. I'd also like to know if you'd be open to ensuring, with relation to the legislation, even more legislation currently calls for one public hearing. I'm a big advocate of having more public engagement, seeing a community that has such little community engagement in some regards. Would you be open to having even more public engagement?
Yeah, I think, Councilmember, we're looking forward in general to following up with you on the specifics of the bills, but we agree we would never, I think, have one meeting about an important topic.
Awesome. And I guess lastly, in terms of, you noted, obviously, looking at the regional layouts of last mile facilities, and many other states have, in fact, been much more forward-thinking in terms of getting a handle, not forward-thinking, but trying to regulate what they see the impacts have been on the ground within their communities. I guess I'd love to hear more about what has DCP learned in terms of its exploration of how other states are regulating last mile facilities in their states that you're considering importing into our state.
Sure. Well, I think maybe I'll start with mentioning, I think your comments earlier about just the complexity of data and understanding what you're seeing. This subject is one I think that really I would start lending itself to that, because there is, under New York City and New York State law, no definition for what a last mile distribution facility is. So I think even starting at that place, we've looked to other cities and other states to understand, when people use that phrase, what exactly are we looking at? Because, I think in a common sense, we understand you're talking about, and particularly Amazon and, certain facilities that are being built in your district, but they're not the only users of, large sites with trucks. Whether people are using size or volume of movement or particular kinds of users. So I think we've learned a lot from comparable studies, just trying to understand what is the class of business or industry that we are looking at, and how do we distinguish one from another in terms of the kinds of impacts that we are trying to evaluate. So I think that's where I would start. Certainly, I think we've seen from New Jersey different. There are varying opinions about the success. I mean, at the state level, I think there's been a real embrace of being the transportation and logistics capital of the United States, in part because of the jobs that is bringing to New Jersey. But then we've also seen more local responses in certain neighborhoods that also are seeing a preponderance and some of the physical challenges that are associated with that. I think a real range of responses that are, from bans to more design guidance related to how facilities are built.
Yeah, all of those will be certainly important, and 100% agree. There is no definition, and we've been trying really hard to get a definition so that we can create a baseline somewhere. And certainly, this is why the text amendment is both very important to begin to create that, because what we have right now is too porous and too problematic, and we see the clustering and the impacts with very little ability to stop it and mitigate it, which we're obviously all working on. But I appreciate that, and certainly there's a ton more to learn. I know you've seen all the articles of many states and communities who are struggling with the environmental justice impacts of these facilities are quite profound. So thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilmember Aviles. We were also joined by Councilmember Tiffany Caban online, that is virtual, and because there is not quorum in the room, she does have 3 questions that she sent me over that I would like to ask. Jobs in the transportation sector and transportation and warehousing sector, which have doubled over 16,000 in recent years, have high injury rates, frequent turnover, and inadequate benefits and pay. What labor issues are you aware of workers in last mile facilities facing?
So apologies, Councilmember. I was actually looking for a particular piece of information I know is in the packet here because one of the points that stuck out to me is that when we actually look at transportation and warehousing as a subsector in general, it actually is one of the larger locuses of good jobs. You know, when we talk about workers in the industrial sector without a bachelor's degree that are earning over $50,000, a considerable amount of those are in transportation and warehousing. So I'm not making any particular claims about, you know, certain employers who send us all of our, you know, goods on next day and maybe don't have employment practices, but as a sector overall, actually, we think that is a really important employer. I can't speak to the specific issues around labor practices and any individual employers. That's not within city planning's wheelhouse. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I don't have insight either. I think what comes to mind is that, you know, the drivers work for different companies, obviously, and they probably have very different employment practices. There are probably really good employers that are very thoughtful of you know, providing their workers benefits, and there's certainly other types of companies that are contributing to the kinds of issues that the council member described. But that's all I can say here.
Okay.
And I think it's probably worth pointing out that when we're talking about public sector employers or workers where the city is putting in money through the Economic Development Corporation, there are typically wage standards and labor practices associated with those contracts. But I think the question seemed more directed at private industry that is not receiving public money on public land, and so our ability to even speak to those labor practices really only goes to understanding like basic labor law within the state of New York, of which none of us here are experts.
Thank you. Do you think the city should play an active role in ensuring last mile facilities are developed with basic environmental and labor protections?
So I'm going to repeat what I just said, which is I think in the cases where we're talking about private industry on private sites, we do not regulate labor practices. While we are taking very seriously the siting considerations for last mile facilities and whether there are particular environmental issues about large sites generating truck traffic, we are not able to use zoning. It is not a legal use of zoning to manage the labor practices associated with a class of uses.
Are you aware of the extent of the street safety concerns for pedestrians near last mile facilities?
We are certainly aware of them.
Okay, and what is the city doing to ensure there is an analysis and a plan for reducing the risk of collisions, traffic violence, and parking violations caused by delivery traffic and routing?
So I think if City DOT were here, I think part of what they're focused on is around this idea of piloting micro-distribution hubs, meaning looking at how to perhaps remove some of that traffic from the streets to reduce conflicts with pedestrians to off-street locations. So for example, areas under bridges, where there isn't as much pedestrian traffic and where it might be safer for these last mile delivery companies to be doing that staging, unloading, and deliveries of goods as a way of trying to address those safety concerns. And so I know DOT is in the process of designing a pilot to be launched later this year.
No, if City DOT were here, I think they'd also comment on how much of their work overall in the city is about improving street safety for pedestrians, which are challenged by both passenger vehicles and trucks in many circumstances, and that much of the interventions they do in terms of crosswalking and pedestrian intersection improvements and street redesigns are directed at exactly this challenge. Where city planning interacts with that typically is in site design, both are for our sort of base zoning as well as when we have the legal wherewithal to be doing site review. We constantly work with DOT to manage curb cuts and the design of loading facilities and where they interact with the street to reduce the pedestrian conflicts on a site. making sure that where we have parking coming in and out of buildings is not also at intersections and where we see those largest pedestrian loads. So we do have that interface, where a building meets the street.
And outside of DOT not being here, would you support legislation mandating such of an analysis?
I'm not totally clear on exactly what the analysis would be, but we'd be happy to talk with the council member and follow up.
Great. Thank you so much. I'll make sure she has your contact information to follow up with you. And seeing no additional questions from members, you're all free to go. Thank you all for joining today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And testifying.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Again, Alex Polinoff, Senior Counsel. We'll now turn to the public portion of the hearing today. For in-person panelists who are testifying publicly, please come up to the dais once your name has been called. For virtual panelists, we will be calling individuals one by one to testify. We will be limiting public testimony today to 3 minutes each, so please begin once the sergeant has started the timer. Council members who have questions for a particular panelist should raise their hands, and council members who are here virtually, please use the Zoom raise hand function, and the chair will call on you after the panelist has completed their testimony. For virtual panelists, once your name is called, a member of our staff will unmute you, and the sergeant at arms will set the timer and give you the go-ahead to begin. So please wait for the sergeant to announce that you may begin before delivering testimony. I would like to now call the following people to the stand to testify. Tim Dumbleton, Emily Goldstein, Brady Meixler, and Quincy Ellie Kate. Apologies if I messed up anyone's name there, but please come on up and you may begin once the sergeant's announced the timer.
Tim, you can begin whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members and staffs of the committee. My name is Tim Dumbleton. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Microgrid Networks. Our company is building and operating energy storage facilities in New York City. We're committed and aligned with the state and city's policies for decarbonization. Currently, the clean energy industry in New York City suffers from a lack of government coordination, planning, and policy, which jeopardizes New York City's chance of meeting ambitious state goals for decarbonization. This includes the deployment of 6,000 megawatts of energy storage, roughly half of which should be installed in the 5 boroughs. In the past 4 years, the city has installed less than 1% of the 2030 goal, and we have only 7 years left. This lack of coordination and planning risks further damage to the climate, as well as delaying the benefits of the clean energy economy for all New Yorkers. We believe that creating an action plan that incorporates economic development and industrial policy around clean energy will maximize benefits both inside and outside of the industrial business zones. Today, I would like to share with you key points on the importance of energy storage and the role that IBZs play in deploying this critical technology now and in the future. Energy storage is a cutting-edge technology engineered to the highest standards, which utilizes UL-tested, FDNY-approved, and 24/7 monitored batteries on a large scale to absorb electricity during the night from our electricity grid, store it locally, and then inject it back into the grid when local demand is high. This process has 4 distinct direct benefits to the average New Yorker. First, it enables our current grid to carry more electricity, which means fewer expensive upgrades and less disruption caused by those upgrades. Second, Energy storage increases network resiliency by reducing the likelihood of local outages caused by overloads. Third, it improves air quality by reducing the need to run expensive polluting peaker plants in designated environmental justice areas. Fourth, it allows more cheap energy from upstate solar and offshore wind to enter our local congested grid and to be consumed by New Yorkers. NYSERDA has calculated that energy storage installation will save ratepayers $2 billion. Put simply, energy storage reduces the cost of energy, makes it cleaner, and makes it more reliable. What's not to like? New York City's electrical grid is made up of 70 smaller grids, each served by a substation, some more stressed than others. The electrification of every building in NYC under Local Law 97, the increased use of EVs, and the increased reliance on intermittent renewable energy like wind and solar will only exacerbate the network capacity issues we're facing today. There's no alternative plan to increasing the capacity on those networks without building a massive amount of energy storage in the city in each of those 70 electrical grids. It's critical to our city and state goals for electrification that this gets done quickly and well. While it's clear that NYC should be pushing and prioritizing and also planning for the deployment of energy, there are many obstacles in our way. Permitting review times are extremely long. Siting large-scale energy storage is challenging, even in IBZs where 100% of our sites are currently located as of right due to competition with other more lucrative uses, and city-level incentives do not exist. 3, there's no centralized planning to help locate energy storage where it's needed most. The impact of energy storage deployment in IBZs can benefit the city as a whole. Energy storage will directly improve the functionality and capacity of our grid. In IBZs, for example, utility infrastructure is substantially lacking compared to core and business residential districts. In fact, the primary complaint we hear from IBZ administrators is that companies not get enough reliable power. Asking our city's employers to slow down their production in the industrial sector is not a solution. Energy storage can make this better. Siting energy storage in these facilities improves network capacity and opens up the power for more power-hungry users.
Tim, I'm gonna have to ask you to wrap soon.
Okay, I'm almost.
We're going 2 minutes over.
I'm sorry, I apologize. The city, yes, carbon neutrality proposal introduced by the administration is an excellent example of forward progress and comprehensive planning, and we'd strongly urge you to vote in support of that proposal. However, it's not enough. Energy storage should be a major component of industrial policy and an economic development policy which can act as a cohesive voice and guidance for our permitting departments. We're in support of this bill, and we look forward to working with the committee and city agencies to help this work. In closing, I would like to invite all of you to come visit our energy storage facility in the North Brooklyn IBZ. It's one of the largest and newest facilities in New York City, and we'll be very glad to tour you there. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Great, thank you, Chair. Thank you for the opportunity to testify. My name is Chris Walters, and I'm the Senior Land Use Policy Associate at the Association for Neighborhood and Housing Development, ANHD. ANHD is a member organization of community groups across the city with a mission to build community power to win affordable housing and thriving equitable neighborhoods for all New Yorkers. As a key part of our work, we convene and participate in the Industrial Jobs Coalition, IJC. We strongly endorse the goals of the proposed Industrial Development Action Plans legislation and believe it would serve as a crucial step in ensuring coordinated, comprehensive planning for the industrial sector in NYC to address the numerous challenges it currently faces. I want to first just emphasize here how this legislation is timely and laying the groundwork to advance proposals that we're all advocating to come out of DCP's City of Yes Economic Opportunity Text Amendment to address and update zoning issues that have long hampered industrial growth. The Economic Opportunity Text Amendment will be a chance to address these issues by creating new types of zoning districts that redefine what uses and building types should be permitted in different areas. It is essential that these new zoning districts include a core industrial district that increases industrial density and limits competing non-industrial uses. Once these new districts, including vitally core industrial, are created through City of Yes, the IDAP planning process, as outlined in this legislation, will help determine where these districts are most appropriate to be mapped in IBZs as part of the larger planning goals of expanding and supporting the industrial sector. I'll now just quickly turn to ways we would like to strengthen this bill to ensure its focus on expanding and retaining industrial businesses in ways that do not put their interests and viability at risk. I think first, as touching upon with the core industrial, we want to make sure that the main focus of the land use framework in this legislation is around mapping core industrial and IBZs and as much of IBZs as possible. We'd also like to more strongly identify IBSPs, industrial business service providers, as lead partners in the planning process coming out of this bill. They bring invaluable expertise and connections with local businesses that I think could also help with some of the concerns the city was addressing in terms of their capacity to do this work. We want to make sure that there's a goal of optimizing and growing industrial incentives. I think there's a lot of ways that they can be more equitably accessed by industrial businesses. We want to make sure this legislation points us towards that. And then lastly, we want to strengthen potential levers for acquiring or encouraging implementation and integration with other planning. In short, we want to ensure that this legislation is implemented, the plans coming out of this legislation are implemented by the city. Thank you very much. We're excited to work with the council to ensure this planning bill truly protects and reimagines the city's industrial business zones, allowing industrial businesses to remain and grow while enhancing the capacity of industrial business service providers to advance economic equity and opportunity for every New Yorker. Thanks very much.
Good afternoon, Council. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Quincy Elikate. I'm Director of Industrial Business Development at the Business Outreach Center Bach Network. Our organization provides services to industrial manufacturing businesses in the Maspeth, Ridgewood, Steinway, and Woodside IBZs in Queens, and the East New York and Flatlands Fairfield IBZs in East Brooklyn. The IBZs are critical for providing quality jobs and promising career paths to New Yorkers who historically have little access to higher education and options for living wage employment. The industrial manufacturing workforce is made up of predominantly minority and immigrant populations with a high percentage of non-native English speakers. In the Maspeth IBZ alone, there are over 15,000 blue-collar jobs across 800 businesses. It is for these reasons that we commend the council in bringing forth this long overdue legislation that begins to prioritize the value and importance of the IBZs, the businesses that operate within them, and most importantly, the jobs they provide our local communities. It is with complete certainty that I can tell you that without thoughtful zoning regulations and incentive programs, New York's industrial and manufacturing sectors would be a small fraction of what it is today. We believe that the IDAP legislation is important to ensuring that New York's manufacturers and industrial businesses continue to have a home here and that future businesses are motivated and encouraged to locate to our IBZs. A mandate to study the IBZs is critical to understanding the trends influencing the IBZs. Importantly, though, these studies need to be geared with an eye to how to grow the number of businesses and jobs, including how to modernize our archaic industrial zoning limitations, and analyzing the incentives being offered in competitive places like New Jersey, Long Island, and upstate in order to be more competitive when businesses are making decisions where to locate. Additionally, as IBSPs, it is important that we are part of the planning process and the study process, able to provide input, relay information from the businesses that we work with so that the plans that are being implemented are actually impactful and grow our industrial sector. Thank you for the opportunity.
Hello, Chair Ferreras and committee members. My name is Brady Mikesell, and I represent the Southwest Brooklyn Industrial Development Corporation. SBIDC is a local nonprofit organization whose mission is to create equal opportunity that helps the people, businesses, and community of Southwest Brooklyn grow. We serve over 1,500 businesses across Sunset Park, Gowanus, and Red Hook. SBIDC urges passage of Intro 1012, which establishes industrial development action plans. We want to thank the committees for considering this legislation, which we believe is an important step towards reinvigorating industrial policy and planning in New York City. and helping to ensure our industrial sector is protected, expanded, and continues to thrive. By encouraging the retention and growth of industrial jobs, the city can uphold the livelihoods of the hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers who rely on these well-paying quality jobs, which are accessible across educational backgrounds and provide pathways into the middle class. Historically, with the notable exceptions of Gowanus and North Brooklyn, the city has neglected thoughtful long-term planning around industrial business zones. With this in mind, we are excited to see the city considering proactive efforts to comprehensively plan for its industrial areas. We believe it is crucial to study the IBZs because from a policy perspective, we need to understand these areas and the growth trajectory of these sectors if we are to effectively train our workforce for them. We believe that IDAPs can help to further unlock the economic potential of industrial uses in Southwest Brooklyn and throughout the city by, one, supporting the city's industrial business service providers to ensure that they can continue to provide the free, high-quality services that businesses in our areas depend upon. Two, examining dated zoning regulations that currently hinder the ability of industrial businesses to grow. And three, recommending needed infrastructure improvements and updates to industrial incentives. Over time, we've experienced the slow erosion of areas where industrial work can be done in this city. Any future study should leave no room for further reduction or de-emphasis. The entirety of the IBZ should prioritize industrial and manufacturing uses. Currently, the legislation allows for portions of the IBZs to be classified as transition areas or growth districts, which could promote more office or other commercial uses. We believe that instead, the full area of each industrial business zone should be mapped as core industrial areas, allowing for these districts to utilize all newly available tools and continue to be fully protected. Growth districts and transition areas should be reserved for M zones that fall outside of IBZs. This is important legislation, and we look forward, along with the other members of the Industrial Jobs Coalition, which you've heard speak today, to being a continued partner in your efforts to sustain and grow New York City's industrial sector. Thank you.
Thank you all for testifying. Do we have any questions for this panel? Yes.
Just one question. Thank you all for testifying. Tim, good to see you. I have a question about a big driver in this bill is to talk about jobs in a real way. Curious if you can share how reporting is done for microgrid and what are the job opportunities for battery storage or battery storage installation. And excuse me if I'm kind of ignorant on this whole process. I think it's valuable, but can you speak to a little bit about the job opportunities for battery storage?
Sure. So we're an independent power producer, and we're one of many companies doing what we're doing. Our company itself is started about 4 years ago and is growing pretty rapidly now. We have about 17 people working for us. I think that the opportunity here in our industry is we're prepared to go and build. We've built 2 this year. We want to build 4 next year, 4 to 6 next year, 8 the year after that, and basically build 8 to 10 every year between now and 2050. To build these things they're very sophisticated. We use union labor, and it's hundreds of permanent jobs because we're essentially going to be continually building between now and 2050. So I think that there's obviously jobs within the control systems and the coordination systems, but also what we're really talking about is building hundreds of millions of dollars worth of infrastructure every year for the next 30 years.
So the bulk of the jobs is, I get what you're saying. I guess I'm just trying to, is there a way to quantify that roughly in one site, for example?
Sure. So in one site, as an example, rough numbers, every site takes about a year to build, and our company is trying to go build 70 of them. Each site is an investment of $12 to $14 million. These are for a typical smaller site. They would employ for 20 people for a full year, and then you're going to build 8 of them a year, and that's just our company. So we're talking about having 200 jobs, 200 permanent, high-quality union jobs just for our company.
That's right. Wonderful. Thank you so much. That was it. Thanks, Chair.
Sure, Councilmember Aviles.
Thank you. Can each of you describe concrete local examples of how the lack of planning and outdated zoning in our industrial areas has negatively affected industrial businesses or city policy goals? In any order as you wish.
Thank you for the question. In the IBZs, I mean, the IBZs are very distinct in their, each one is geographically in their built structures. But what I would say is a significant limiting factor is a point that was touched on earlier about FAR. We've had businesses that have outgrown their space and are looking to grow in place, but they're limited by a 1.0 FAR. They could easily add above their workshops, add office space above that would be complementary to their business. Right now they're bursting at the seams, and they have to go look for an additional location or move somewhere out of the city because they don't have the available FAR to build where they were in their current location. So that would be one example that we've seen where they're very limited by current zoning.
And to build off what Quincy was saying there, in the Southwest Brooklyn IBZ, for instance, the industrial vacancy rate is at an all-time low right now. It's under 4%. So we believe that adding density to some of these spaces could really serve a lot of these businesses that aren't able to locate in our district just because there's not the available space. And I think a particular need we've seen time and again from businesses looking to locate in our area has been for high ceiling space. And without the proper FAR on a facility, the financials don't really work out to build brand new industrial high ceiling space. So adding that availability to have additional square footage above a high ceiling facility could hopefully unlock that.
I could just add one example. I think just if you look in general, like if you look to something like the Greenpoint Williamsburg IBZ, you can see how it's not enough to just have an IBZ. It's not enough to have financial incentives without zoning that is trying to preserve and help manufacturing grow. What you've seen there is basically the wholesale gutting of industrial businesses, and in those places, gyms, basketball gyms, bars, restaurants, large-scale entertainment, and again, so emphasizing that the two hands are not working together, right? DCP and EDC, when you don't have the land use policy working with the financial incentives, that can tend to be what happens.
I think that my comments around this would be more about having planning and coordination between the agencies. So we've struggled from, the city and state have established these goals, but then we've basically been left our own to go educate all of the planners at DOB about this new technology. So we've wasted spent an enormous amount of time trying to create all of the standards in each different agency and get them to talk to each other. And there isn't somebody that's saying, okay, we have to go build a bunch of this stuff. Let's make sure that we're able to get it through DOB without having endless delays and in training everybody what things are. We've spent, as an example, there is a building use group that surrounds battery storage, but it is around the storage of little batteries. And we have just hours of conversation about how that's not what we're doing. Right, so it's things like that where if there was a centralized, it was a feeling that there were people looking out for this industry and trying to make sure that all of the agencies that have jurisdiction over this industry were all moving in a coordinated effort to allow this to be built. It would be a great advantage to us in permitting.
Thank you. Certainly resembles a lot of our interactions with agencies and frustrations around the lack of coordination across and the amount of time it takes to course correct. This is a similar follow-up question. It may be the same, it may not be the same, but in terms of, in your view, what are some of the most urgent reforms that we need to make to the city's current business assistance, workforce development, or economic incentive programs? What feels the most urgent at this moment in time for you all?
For me, it's just coordination, right? It's just having a feeling that that if the city has this goal, let's make sure the agencies are ready to deal with it.
I mean, I think I'm a bit speaking for IBSPs, but I know one is just ensuring their funding and their funding for multi-years. I know there's a lot of issues with getting the funding they need to do their work. I would not quite include it in your question, but I would definitely just put again the land use policy within that. I think just the need for increased FAR for industrial uses and then limiting competing uses in core industrial areas is and has been for a while sort of one of the existential issues. But leave to you guys if there's more for.
Thanks, Christopher. I would agree the IBSPs, as an IBSP, I know that it's very tenuous. Our funding is not insured going forward, and it makes it really hard for us to plan. I know that if we're paid very late. It's really hard to run an organization that way. Our funding has been cut since the beginning of the program. So that is really critical to the work that we do and the advocacy that we provide to businesses in the community. But really, I think industrial manufacturing businesses need zoning protections that really limit alternative uses that are non-industrial within our IBZs. And they just cannot compete on a market level with somebody who can come in, a developer looking to, put self-storage or some other competing use that's not non-industrial. And so that would be my priority.
And I, of course, as an IBSP as well, we echo the same concerns about IBSP funding. On the land use issue, these competing uses, competing, for the same space with rents. I think within IBZs, it would be great to see some sort of, requirement that buildings going up have, some kind of industrial usage component. So where there is office space, that's being used to cross-subsidize lower industrial rents.
Okay, thank you. I think we're going to move to our next panel. Thank you all so much for answering our questions. Do you want me to do it? Can we have Krista Starrett, Raul Rivera, Ashley Sanders, and Peter Goldberg to join us in the hot seat? And if there's anyone else here in chambers that hasn't been called to testify and would like to testify, please find a sergeant at arms in the front to fill out a sheet. And Krista, you can begin when you are ready.
Good afternoon. My name is Krista Starrett, and I work for the Newtown Creek Alliance, a nonprofit dedicated to restoring, revealing, and revitalizing Newtown Creek, an industrial waterway that borders the North Brooklyn, Long Island City, and Maspeth IBZs. We work to clean the creek of historic toxins and ongoing pollution, reconnect communities to the waterway, and seek to preserve the surrounding areas as industrial and manufacturing zones. We support the Council's efforts to examine ways to improve IBZ function and productivity, but are here to speak to opportunities for upgrading IBZs to better address environmental justice issues, mitigate climate change-related impacts, and better incorporate use, restoration, and access to adjacent waterways. We urge the Council to fully consider how IBZs can be more than just economic engines, but hubs for greener and more sustainable uses and opportunities. The following are specific issues and recommendations. IBZs typically suffer from extreme heat and UHI effects, increased rainfall and flooding, lack of wildlife habitat, and poor air quality. Proposed changes to the current zoning should specifically address the need for more green infrastructure. There's a significant opportunity to better manage and absorb stormwater on site, helping protect surrounding neighborhoods from costly and deadly flooding, and our waterways from untreated sewage during rain events. Green infrastructure can also be an effective tool to address poor air quality, although the most effective way to improve air quality and reduce pollutants coming from IBZs is for the city to implement tighter restrictions and measures to prevent point source emissions. Currently, developments within industrial zones do not trigger waterfront public access requirements. We believe the city is past due in updating these and should implement baseline requirements to create public waterfront access and/or resilient and ecologically productive shorelines for any industrial site that is being redeveloped and not utilizing their waterfront for maritime purposes. This is a critical opportunity. We ask that changes to our IBZs not solely focus on increasing development rights and FARs, but consider the social, public health, and environmental benefits that can also be gained through smart and comprehensive planning. Thank you for your time and consideration.
We'd love some ahead of time testimony. Thank you. Next up is Raul. Oh, you want to go in order? Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Ashley Saunders. I'm from 315 Amber Street, known as the Hole in Brooklyn, an entire community developed on a creek known as Spring Creek. I came here on April 25th to testify before the Housing Committee about the rapid deterioration of buildings due to the current environment. This includes excessive flooding, extreme moisture, open cesspools spewing into the streets and backing up into homes, aggressive mold and mushrooms. Since my last testimony on April 25th, everyone in my building got a notice to vacate from our landlord as an act of retaliation. 3 people in my community develop asthma due to the cesspool and human waste that is being pumped into the streets because the city hasn't given us a connection to the city sewer lines. My building is collapsing. The floors in my apartment has caved in. I came back again on May to the City Council's main office at 250 Broadway to protest, and I was removed by police. I am here again today. I have lost a lot trying to get this issue to your attention. I'm aware that the mayor has issued a $75 million plan for the area, but the committee has to be aware of the immediate issues faced by the tenants in the community because there has been no plans implemented for tenants. Currently, I have been told by the Department of Buildings to call 911, but doing so will trigger an immediate vacate order, creating an uncertainty of housing for all the tenants in my building. To date, 2, soon to be 4 homes have been given vacate orders, leaving tenants homeless. These vacate orders are being issued due to the structural development on compromised land. I am asking the committee, instead of trying to implement proposals to use the land, to try and effect a plan to restore the land to its original state. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your testimony. Go.
Hi, my name is Peter Goldberg. I'm an organizer with Tenant Union Flatbush, and I'm here today with Ashley representing her fellow tenants at 315 Amber Street. I just want to speak about what I've witnessed in their building, having come there in the last couple of months, and why I felt it was necessary to come before these committees today. Working with the tenants at 315 Amber for the last few months, one thing that's really stood out is the massive discrepancy between the severity of the issues they face and the city's anemic response. Deteriorating floors, vermin, landlord harassment, rampant mold, flooding, and septic leaking into the walls. This is only the beginning of the list. These conditions are not just physically dangerous, but we believe they've been the direct cause of various health issues that tenants are experiencing. Due to the sheer number of different problems, it's been a dizzying time simply trying to figure out which agency can respond to which issues. HPD refers us to DOB, who refers us to DEP, who refers us to DOH. Even with a growing mound of violations issued, essential repairs necessary to ensure the well-being of tenants have not been started because of bureaucratic distinctions between the various issues these tenants are facing. To give one example, it seems that no agency is capable of cleaning and repairing an open cesspool in the tenant's yard, which has led to human waste pooling outside just feet from the home, preventing them from opening their windows. These agencies have been alerted several times about these issues. We've held rallies to draw attention to them. We've spoken to agency leaders personally, but none of this alleviates the basic problem that these agencies are hamstring when it comes to coordinating their response to the problems at 315 Amber. Because of that, we've come here to address ourselves directly to City Council, as several of the council members in the Land Use and Economic Development Committees also share seats in the Housing Committee. There was, alas, no meeting for tenants to voice these issues. We want to ask members of the City Council to use their power to help ensure these fixes are done so that the tenants at 315 Amber can live safely and healthfully. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Just again, this is 315 Amber Street in Brooklyn?
Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Raul Rivera. I'm a TLC driver and a TLC driver advocate. I'm a native from the Bronx. I don't know what you can say in 3 minutes. I don't have anything written down, but we are concerned that our council, well, I'm concerned that our council members are not being vocal enough when it comes to congestion pricing. This is the Committee on Land Use, and our council members are being silent. We don't hear them saying anything about congestion pricing. If you want to defend your district and the people in that district, you must be against congestion pricing. You should be more vocal. We don't hear anybody saying anything about it. Are you for congestion pricing? We wanted to testify in front of Salamanca, but he took off. I spoke to his staffer, couldn't give me a straight answer. It's not hard. It's either you're for it or you're against it. We know that Joe Borelli, Councilmember Joe Borelli, has a resolution that should be supported by all council members. Why? Because that resolution gives a voice to the people. The people could vote on it, but our elected officials, like the governor and the mayor and many council members, are looking the other way. They don't want to give the people a voice. Push that resolution. Give a voice to the people. Let them decide. Let them decide on congestion pricing. It's going to affect the little guy, the people of color that we always talk about. Also, I want to talk about cobalt. Cobalt is a mineral. This is the third time I talk about it. Cobalt is a mineral that's needed to make batteries for electric vehicles. And in the DRC, in the Congo, in Africa, we have little boys and little black girls, people of color digging for that cobalt so New York could be green. New York is not going to save the planet. Councilmember Ivelis, can you at least pay attention? It's important. The cobalt is being mined by little black boys and girls so New York City could be green. New York City is not going to save the planet. Congestion pricing is basically being robbed without a gun. That's what that is. New Yorkers do not want congestion pricing. We encourage our council members to speak up if you're against it. If you're for it, we want to know. Also, I want to say thank you to you for meeting with us last month. We hope we can get that audit. We want to audit the MTA. We know that they hired a lot of money. They've been caught in the past with surpluses, 500 million, 300 million. Why do we have to give them our money? Please protect the New Yorker and your constituents in your district. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your testimony, folks. And Raul, I will follow up with you. I know I owe you a follow-up. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now move to the virtual portion of the testimony. As a reminder, we will be limiting the virtual testimony to 3 minutes each, and please begin once the sergeants have started their timers. And again, for council members who are here virtually, please use the Zoom raise hand function, and the chair will call on you after the panelist has completed their testimony. First, we will hear from Scott Van Kampen, followed by Charles Yu, and then Leah Archibald. Scott Van Kampen, you may begin when the sergeants announce the timer.
Your time will begin.
Thank you. And thank you, Chair and committee members. I really appreciate allowing to be able to take a couple minutes out of your time today. I would just want to really sort of introduce myself to you and my organization. So my name is Scott Van Kampen. I'm the executive director and co-founder of Makerspace NYC. And we are a community-based nonprofit workshop where we actually got our start as an EDC-sponsored business incubator about 10 years ago in Staten Island on the North Shore. We answered an RFP basically saying, if we can teach people how to make things, we can encourage them to start businesses within our space. And we started doing that. We started teaching people how to make things. We've had thousands of people come through as students, adults, learning things like welding and woodworking, ceramics, 3D printing, advanced manufacturing techniques. Some of our members have moved on and moved out of the space. One of the stars out of that is a company called Killsborough Brewing. They are on the North Shore of Staten Island. They are moving into a $4 million beer brewing facility that they actually got their start in our space as home brewers. So when you talk about manufacturing, as you guys know, it's a very broad spectrum there. But about 4 years ago, we took over a space at the Brooklyn Army Terminal, and we started operating out of here. It's a 20,000 square foot space, and we started doing programming, working with SBS, running their Apprentice NYC program. So the Apprentice NYC program is a 400-hour program teaching advanced manufacturing techniques to people who are really looking for a career. Most of those participants are people of color from all over New York City. And we get them started with the math and the safety around the tools, and they are employed the entire time that they're taking classes, that they're here. It's really an amazing program. We've actually run 6 cohorts of that and have graduated out, I think, over about 120, 125 students from that program. We also work with SBIDC, with disadvantaged youths, teaching them some techniques around manufacturing. You know, the world still needs people to get dirty. And, you know, when you talk about manufacturing, it's a very broad spectrum. The companies that we work with in the apprentice program, there's advanced stuff like aerospace. There's Lee Spring. We work with companies in the building here at the Brooklyn Army Terminal. We also just recently expanded about a year and a half ago to Building A. So our square foot occupancy at the Brooklyn Army Terminal is actually 42,000 square feet.
Time
Of
expired.
manufacturing space. And I encourage you to think out of the box and think about innovation around manufacturing, because it can be done in New York City, and it can be done effectively, efficiently, and creatively.
Thank you
for your time.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Charles Yu, followed by Leah Archibald and Rami Dinah. Charles Yu, you can begin when the sergeants announce the time.
Your time will begin.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, council members. My name is Charles Yu, the Vice President of Economic Development at the Long Island City Partnership, and I'm here to speak in support of the Industrial Development Action Plans. The plans represent crucial steps in protecting and reimagining the city's industrial business zones, ensuring industrial businesses can thrive while advancing economic equity. And as the chair stated in the opening, the industrial sector plays a very important role in New York City. As the second largest private sector employer in New York City, industrial businesses provide middle-class jobs that offer opportunity pathways for our diverse workforce. These jobs pay nearly $20,000 more annually than retail positions and nearly twice as much as those in the food and beverage industry. Moreover, they contribute to economic mobility for our workforce, with 80% of workers being people of color and 50% being immigrants. And that's why we're very happy to see that the council is making a major step now to promote the interest and viability of industrial businesses. To ensure the success of the action plans, we urge the council to consider the following recommendations. There are 6 of them. 1, identify industrial business service providers, such as the Long Island City Partnership, as lead partners in the planning process to leverage their on-the-ground expertise. Number 2, remove growth districts and transitional districts from the planning framework and treat all IBCs as core industrial districts. Number 3, protect ground floor industrial spaces in the IBC to preserve affordability. Number 4, include a goal of optimizing and growing industrial incentives to retain and attract industrial businesses and ensure equitable access to industrial space. Number 5, designate the EDC as the lead entity for the IDAP planning process to help coordinate inputs from all partners. 6, strengthen integration with other planning efforts and agencies to meet the challenges in the IBCs today. By placing a priority on the retention and growth of industrial businesses, we have the opportunity to create valuable job opportunities and pathways for our diverse workforce, supporting development of a thriving middle class. And we deeply appreciate the council's proactive role in championing this cause. With a shared commitment, let us work together to bring a bright and sunny future for the industrial businesses in our city. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Leah Archibald and then Rami Dinah, followed by Kevin Garcia. Leah Archibald, you can begin when the sergeants announce the time.
Your time will begin.
Hi, my name's Leah Archibald, and I'm the Executive Director of Evergreen. We're the local development corporation that works with businesses here in industrial North Brooklyn to help them grow so we can keep high-quality working-class jobs in our community. We are the industrial business solutions provider for North Brooklyn. We are in agreement with our colleagues that we are really excited to work with the Speaker and City Council on this bill. We think that this legislation will really help industrial businesses thrive and grow and enhance the capacity of our industrial business service providers to advance economic equity and opportunity for every New Yorker. Like my colleagues, we think that there are a few things that we could do to improve the legislation, which I don't need to go into because they've spoken about it at length. I'd like to speak for a couple of minutes about why I think this is important and what I think the opportunities are for this legislation. I think that it's really interesting by creating these industrial action plans for each IBZ every 5 years can really help inform and New York City and each of us IBSPs about local trends in each of our unique areas. And it can ensure that services and program offerings are tailored directly to current business needs. I also believe that local industrial businesses will benefit from the wide-ranging interagency coordination required by the industrial action plans. In fact, I think this could be the most important innovation for our businesses. At present, the businesses deal with contradicting regulations from different agencies, resulting in a ton of confusion and fines. A more coordinated approach will improve regulatory function and create a more fertile environment for businesses to grow. Finally, we think that the ongoing attention to the state of industrial businesses will help elevate the importance of these businesses and the high-quality working-class jobs that they provide. New York City simply cannot function without the goods and services that our industrial businesses provide. Whether it's concrete, cabinetry, or metalwork for new buildings, fresh bread delivered daily to hotels and restaurants, or the processing of recycling waste created by New York City's residents, these functions are essential to the existence of our city. Ongoing study into the unique intricacies of each IBZ will be informative and remind New Yorkers how important these functions are to our collective existence. Ultimately, it'll galvanize support to preserve them and develop policies to nurture their growth over the long term. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we will hear from Rami Dinah, followed by Kevin Garcia. And as a reminder, if there's anybody else who is interested in testifying who has not heard their name called, please raise your hand using the Zoom raise hand function. Rami Dinah, you may begin when the sergeants call time.
Your time will begin.
Hi, my name is Rami Danawi, and I'm the Environmental Justice Campaign and Policy Manager at El Puente. El Puente is a community-based organization located in North Brooklyn, founded over 40 years ago in south side of Williamsburg, Los Sures. El Puente is also a part of the Last Mile Coalition, a citywide coalition of environmental justice and public health advocates working to regulate last mile trucking facilities in New York City. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to provide my testimony on Intro 1012. While we support the importance of the industrial sector in achieving clean energy goals and providing green economic opportunities, we believe there are several areas in which it needs improvement. Firstly, the legislation lacks emphasis on environmental justice. It fails to prioritize the concerns of marginalized communities who bear the disproportionate impacts from industrial activities, such as pollution, exposure, and health risk. Secondly, the legislation falls short in terms of community engagement. While it mentions a public hearing on the draft plan, it does not provide a robust framework for meaningful community involvement. It is also important to specify the inclusion of existing community plans in any industrial plan formulated and to conduct multiple public hearings, including those conducted within and in collaboration with neighborhood adjacent to IBZs. Furthermore, the legislation needs specific guidelines or requirements for sustainable practices within the industrial sector. Additionally, the legislation primarily focuses on IBZs without considering the cumulative impacts of industrial activities across the entire city. It is essential to assess the overall environmental and health impacts of the industrial sector at a citywide level and develop strategies to mitigate cumulative burdens on communities. Moreover, the legislation lacks clear mechanisms to hold city agencies accountable for implementing the industrial development plan and achieving its goals. Without robust monitoring, reporting, and enforcement mechanisms, there is a risk that the plan's objectives will not be effectively implemented, leading to missed opportunities for environmental justice and sustainable industrial development. The legislation should align with the targets set forth by the CLCPA and refer to the goals of up to 40% investment in disadvantaged communities. Lastly, the definitions within the legislation need to be revised. The industrial sector should explicitly acknowledge green and clean energy manufacturing as an industrial use. As previously mentioned by the council members, it is concerning that the lack of last mile facilities definition at DCP may leave room for last mile warehouses to be defined as industrial use. In conclusion, to ensure an equitable and sustainable approach to industrial development, it is crucial to address these concerns. We must prioritize environmental justice, enhance community engagement, provide specific guidelines for sustainable practice, considering cumulative impacts, establish clear accountability measures, and revise the definitions within the legislation. Thank you. We look forward to working with you to ensure EJ concerns are a cornerstone in this legislation, and we will be submitting written testimony as well. Thank you.
Okay, next up we have Kevin Garcia, and I believe he is the last person to testify today. So, Kevin Garcia, you may begin when the sergeant's call time.
Your time will begin.
Thank you all. Thank you to the chairs and the committee members here today for the opportunity to share comments. My name is Kevin Garcia. I am the transportation planner with the New York City Environmental Justice Alliance. Founded in 1991, NEJA is a nonprofit citywide membership network linking grassroots organizations from low-income communities of color in their struggle for environmental justice. We are also a part of the Last Mile Coalition, along with El Puente, Uprose, Red Hook Initiative, the Point CDC, Earth Justice, and New York Lawyers for the Public Interest, and we're all working to regulate last mile trucking facilities in New York City. NEJA has long supported building a climate-resilient industrial waterfront while promoting local industrial jobs. Many of our members are based in or near industrial business zones, and we understand the importance of these areas for the economic vitality of working-class communities across the city, while recognizing the significance of the industrial sector in achieving clean energy goals and fostering economic opportunities. Intro 1012 does need to address some critical concerns to ensure a comprehensive and equitable approach to industrial development. One concern is the need for more emphasis on environmental justice within the bill. The legislation does not prioritize environmental justice concerns explicitly, nor does it address the disproportionate impacts of industrial activities on marginalized communities, such as exposure to air, water, and land pollution and other health risks. It is vital to incorporate explicit measures that effectively address these disparities and ensure equitable distribution of the benefits arising from industrial development among all communities. Furthermore, our industrial sector has provided stable and well-paying jobs for many environmental justice community members, and this legislation should prioritize these same communities in educational, training, and workforce opportunities as the transition to green industrial jobs continues in order to prevent job loss and displacement. By integrating specific provisions that center on environmental justice, we can strive to mitigate the adverse impacts on marginalized communities and foster a more inclusive approach to industrial development. I also want to raise the concern about defining the industrial sector within the legislation. The bill should explicitly acknowledge green and clean energy manufacturing as industrial uses. But the other concern is regarding the possibility of last mile warehouses being defined as industrial uses. Last mile warehouses are not defined in the city's zoning resolution. Therefore, they are treated as traditional warehouses, but they demand hundreds of daily van and truck trips, which are congesting our roads and leading to more air pollution in our communities. Since these are not traditional warehouses, these facilities must be defined based on use and size, and a special permit process must be created as our zoning text amendment application would do, as mentioned earlier. And this would help protect our communities and help the city plan accordingly for these facilities.
Time
Thank you again
expired.
for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. We have one more person who signed up to testify. The person who's currently registered as Charles Yu. We're going to unmute you, but please state your name for the record and we'll update it here on the Zoom, and then you can begin your testimony.
Thank you very much. My name is Brian T. Coleman,
Okay.
Coleman,
Go ahead.
and I'm the CEO of the Greenpoint Manufacturing Design Center, GMDC. So thank you, Chair, committee members, council members. We represent the city's premier nonprofit industrial real estate developer of affordable manufacturing space. We purchase industrial buildings and develop them for occupancy by small manufacturing businesses. The organization has developed over 700,000 square feet of industrial space in Brooklyn, Queens. We currently own and manage 6 buildings that are home to 126 companies and over 730 manufacturing jobs. Our tenants include woodworkers, cabinet makers, display makers, metal workers, and a variety of artisanal trades and artists. As a member of the Industrial Jobs Coalition, GMDC is part of a network of industrial sector advocates, service providers, and developers collaborating to protect and preserve the manufacturing sector in New York City. The Industrial Development Action Plan put forth by the council seeks to advance economic equity and opportunity for every New Yorker, and we strongly support it. Industrial businesses comprise the second largest private sector employer in New York City. In GMDC's 6 buildings alone, our small business tenants generate annual revenues in excess of $100 million. Additionally, the average annual salary in GMDC's building is $54,500, much more than traditional retail and food service jobs. Industrial jobs offer higher wages, low barriers to entry, and opportunity paths for workers of non-traditional backgrounds, including a workforce that is 80% people of color, and 50% foreign-born. In every borough and in every IBZ, we find examples of innovative businesses that contribute to tens of thousands of industrial and manufacturing jobs. The Industrial Development Action Plan seeks to solidify these core industrial districts with use group restrictions and increased FAR that would ensure the existing industrial buildings, otherwise at risk of displacement, would continue to have a long-term future in New York City. We think the growth districts and transition areas should be removed from the planning framework to signal that the industrial areas of the city are for industrial businesses only. We also recommend that current economic development incentives must include a goal of optimizing and growing industrial incentives to transform outdated eligibility criteria, application processes, and metrics so that they remain accessible and applicable to today's industrial businesses. As a matter of compliance and to ensure that these goals are met, we encourage the city to stipulate that any applicants proposing a ULURP in existing IBZs must identify how their zoning plan aligns with the land use goals of the IDAP. This is a critical moment to jumpstart comprehensive reform to the city's existing industrial
Your
business
time has
zones.
expired.
And to ensure the longevity of manufacturers. We appreciate the council has given attention to this area of the IBZs and in manufacturers in general, and we hope that you continue to pursue other initiatives in the same area. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for everyone who testified with us. Seeing that there are no more hands up virtually or here in person, I would like to say we're trying as a council to pay more attention to this really critical area in this city. And Councilmember Gutierrez and I continuously make the joke that we're trying to make manufacturing and the industrial sector sexy again. And we're hoping to do so with this bill, especially hearing with all of the overwhelming support. But we're looking forward to working together with the admin to finding a way to make this a reality for our sectors here throughout the city. And with that, We are closing at 5:02.